What if the greatest evil in the world wasn't obvious? What if it didn't look like chaos, violence, or destruction, but instead looked like comfort, distraction, and slow drift? That's exactly the world that C.S. Lewis explores in the Screwtape Letters, a book written from the perspective of a demon, not a hero, not a victim, a demon. And through that lens, Lewis exposes something unsettling. Evil doesn't usually destroy you outright. It nudges you quietly until you don't even notice you've changed. The book is structured as a series of letters from a senior demon named Screwtape to his inexperienced nephew, Wormwood. Their mission is simple: corrupt a human soul. The human is referred to only as the patient. What makes this idea so powerful is the reversal. God is called the enemy. Humans are called patients. Love, truth, and humility are treated like threats. And because of that reversal, you are forced to see good and evil from the opposite perspective. It becomes uncomfortable, but also incredibly revealing. Screwtape does not tell Wormwood to cause chaos or commit dramatic acts of evil. Instead, he gives a much more subtle strategy: distraction. Keep the patient busy. Keep him comfortable. Keep his mind scattered. Because the real goal is not to make him openly evil. It is to keep him from ever thinking deeply enough to change. Another strategy is slow drift. Not big decisions. Small ones. A little resentment here. A small compromise there. A slight shift in priorities. Over time, these tiny changes reshape a person completely. Evil, in this view, is not a sudden fall. It is a gradual slide. Then there is normalization. Make bad things feel ordinary. Make them feel acceptable, even justified. Because once something feels normal, it is no longer questioned. And once it is no longer questioned, it becomes part of who you are. Screwtape is obsessed with preventing real spiritual growth. One of the main tactics is confusion. Encourage vague thinking. Encourage emotional reactions. Keep the patient from ever slowing down enough to examine truth clearly. Because clarity is dangerous. Another tactic is to make the patient focus on people instead of principles. Focus on the flaws of others. Focus on hypocrisy. Focus on irritation. If faith becomes about other people's behavior instead of truth itself, it becomes unstable, and eventually it collapses. One of the most powerful ideas in the book is this: the safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turns, without milestones, without signposts, just a quiet, comfortable drift. Lewis also explores human weaknesses in a very real way. Pride is one of the most dangerous. Not just thinking you did something good, but believing you are better than others. Even humility can be twisted into pride. You can become proud of being humble. And the moment that happens, the trap is set. Then there is anger. Not explosive rage, but small, daily irritation. Annoyance with family. Passive aggression. Silent resentment. These are far more effective because they feel justified. They feel normal. And because of that, they go unchecked. The book also touches on desire and dissatisfaction, not by pushing people to extremes, but by distorting expectations, making people constantly feel like something is missing, like what they have is not enough. That quiet dissatisfaction can drive endless poor decisions. Time is another weapon. Screwtape wants the patient stuck in the past or obsessed with the future, because the present moment is where real change happens. And if you can keep someone from being present, you can keep them from changing. Written during World War II, the book also explores fear. Fear can be useful, but only in the right amount. Too much fear can push people toward faith. Too little fear gives no control. The goal is to keep people anxious, uncertain, mentally distracted, always thinking, but never understanding. But the book also reveals what evil fears: real love, not just emotion, but selfless action, commitment, sacrifice. These are things that cannot be easily manipulated. Humility is another threat. Seeing yourself clearly, not inflated, not diminished, just real. That kind of clarity breaks illusion. And then there is authentic faith, not cultural identity, not routine, but something deeply lived, something real. That is what the enemy cannot tolerate. In the end, the patient dies during the war, and instead of losing everything, he is saved. Despite the distractions, despite the temptations, despite the slow drift, he chooses truth, and wormwood fails. The message of the book is simple, but powerful. Evil is subtle. The biggest danger is not open rebellion. It is quiet indifference. It is slow drift. It is the small choices that seem insignificant at the time. But once you become aware of these patterns, something changes. You begin to see them, and once you see them, they lose their power. So the real question is this: where in your life are things not collapsing, but slowly drifting? Because according to the Screwtape Letters, that is exactly how it starts.